Bienvenidos a WrestleMania con el luchador, el protector del mundo, señor, el jefe de la biblioteca, Brion Stoutarm. What's up, everybody? Welcome to some Brion WrestleMania. Hope you're excited. Get the volume, there we go, get the volume turned back up. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, it's a little clunky. Let's go and mulligan on that one. Yeah, we can make this work. I don't really want to go past 6 and red and white, so we'll hold on this one, keep our fingers crossed that we get a land on top, or maybe some sort of card draw, so we can dig a little bit deeper into our library, but definitely hold on this one. See if our opponent wants a mulligan past 4 or not. Alright, Kiki Jiki. Let's go put Kiki Jiki on the bottom for right now, and our opponent will be on the play. We're playing Brion, WrestleMania, Mr. Luchador himself. Lifelink, 1 red mana activation, sacrifice another creature. Brion deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to target player or Planeswalker. Let's go and get down Arid Mesa, and then anything else we're going to go and pass the turn. Playing against Kozilek, the Great Distortion. It's going to be 8 colorless, and then 2 colorless specifically. When you cast this spell, if you have fewer than 7 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference, menace, then discard a card with converted mana cost X. Counter target spell with converted mana cost X. Okay. Oh, dang, I meant to crack that Arid Mesa. That's okay. All right, drawn to Path to Exile. Let's go and get down Mountain. And I guess at this point, yeah, we're going to go for Swiftfoot Boots. I'm okay with that one. We'll go and grab Tundra off this one. Or not Tundra, what is it? Plateau. There we go. Let's grab Plateau. Let's go for Swiftfoot Boots. It's going to be 1, 2. And like I said, fingers crossed, hopefully we draw into a land drop for next turn. If somehow we draw into one of our 2-drop creatures or something like that, which I'm not entirely sure if we do. I think we do have Stoneforge Mystic in here. We might be able to end up going for a Path to Exile on one of our creatures to get a land drop. So that would be something we can work towards. See, we draw into, though. All right, draw into Mountain. Wonderful. I'm just going to get Mountain down, and then we can go for a 1,000-year Elixir. Yeah, that'd be good. It's going to be 1, 2, 3. Going to tap out for that, and then anything else, we're going to go pass the turn. I started laughing because with Kozilek during the EDH Lounge, which we're about to get a new EDH Lounge coming out soon. We're going to start with Dominaria, and then we have a special lounge following that. But during the last EDH Lounge, we did, if you didn't see it, go check it out. It was a really cool video. We ended up doing block constructed blocks that's had at least 2 printings. So like I got assigned the Zendikar block. They had the original Zendikar and then the new Zendikar. Somebody had Ravnica, old Ravnica, new Ravnica, and Return to Dust. Okay, not the best, but let's see. Yeah, I guess anything else, we're going to pass turn to our opponent. But yeah, so we did block constructed for that format, and it was a lot of fun. And I was laughing because Mudsta, he was assigned Ravnica, and he did Experiment Crag, or whatever its name is. And there's a turn where he was going to get down, I think, there's some card with converted mana cost 4. And they were going to get that card down, and then he was going to put Followed Footsteps on it, where he's going to start getting a bunch of copies of it, and it's going to be a lot of card draw for him. And I didn't know they had the Followed Footsteps, but I had Kozilek on the battlefield, so I discarded Gideon to counter that spell, and oh, it felt good. All right, so we do draw into Plains. Wonderful. Let's go and get Plains down. At this point right now, yeah, we're going to go and get down Brion. We need to get some stuff moving. I guess technically we do have Return to Dust if we wanted to get rid of a couple artifacts. That's going to be Palladium Mirror. And we also go for Wayfarer's Bauble. We're going to see the Wayfarer's Bauble crack in response to that. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we've got a little bit of time. Let's go ahead and go for Brion Stoutarm. It's going to be red, white. Get that down. Unfortunately, we're not going to have Swiftfoot Boots active. We will have Brion active online for 1,000-year Elixir, as though it had haste for the activations. But anything else, we're going to go pass turn to our opponent. But yeah, that's also a fun card to run in here, is that we can activate abilities of creatures as though they had haste, and it also has the untap ability. So if we can get some of this stuff onto the battlefield, we can start throwing it at our opponent. Start throwing it at Kozilek. I know Kozilek does have his hand up in the air like he doesn't care, but he definitely will care once we start throwing some of these dragons. You can see how our opponent's sitting at 30 right now. We just throw a Thunder Blast at our opponent. It's not going to do too much, but being able to swing in with that Thunder Blast for 7 and then throwing it at your opponent, some really good magic. And also, whenever you sacrifice Thunder Blast, it's one of those that it has persist, so it's going to come back as a 6/1, which is makes for some fun. All right, opponent's going to go for Ulamog's Crusher. So at this point right now, it'd be really good. If we want to get around that Annihilator, what we can do is simply just go for Path to Exile to get around that. But let's see what we draw into. All right, draw into Mirage Mirror. Let's go and do this. So let's go ahead and go for... Yeah, I'd like to get Swiftfoot Boots onto Brion. I guess we necessarily don't have to do that. We can go for Mirage Mirror and then go for an activation. If that's something that we want to do, we can still leave up Path to Exile. Yeah, let's go and do this. Let's go for Mirage Mirror, because that will be something that we can chunk at our opponent. They've only got one card in the hand, and once we take care of that Ulamog's Crusher with Path to Exile, we'll be pretty good. And with the Annihilator trigger, yeah, it's whenever it attacks. So at the beginning of combat, we can simply just use Path to Exile to kind of take care of it. Anything else, we're going to go pass it turn to our opponent. But yeah, Mirage Mirror. So I've had Mirage Mirror in here for a long time, and so it's actually kind of fun to get it on the battlefield, especially when we're playing against a really big... a big creature deck like this one where they've got a ton of creatures on the battlefield. Having Mirage Mirror become a copy of Ulamog's Crusher and then throwing it at your opponent, some really good magic. All right, let's go for Path to Exile on Ulamog's Crusher. That's going to be 1 white mana. Get rid of that Annihilator 2, because that Annihilator 2 would actually be pretty devastating to our current board state at this point right now with only 4 lands on the battlefield. We do have some artifacts in here, so hopefully if we can draw into some of those artifacts, we'll kind of start ramping up some of that card draw. But as far as them getting down Kozilek, they still have Palladium Mirror. That's going to be 2 mana, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they will be at 10 total mana. They'll be online for that. So that's something we do have to watch out for. All right, put us down to 7. And with the Walker of the Waste, gets +1/+1 for each land that you can with the waste on it. Okay. Let's see what else we rip into. Like I said, we still have at least Return to Dust to exile that effect. Slayer's Stronghold. Okay. Let's go and get down Slayer's Stronghold. Let's go and go for Swiftfoot Boots onto Brion. Yeah, that's something I want to get down. And then we're going to go and go for Return to Dust at this point right now. Exiling target artifact or enchantment. There's nothing else for us to exile at this point right now, but I definitely want to get rid of Palladium Mirror. We're just going to click 1 on that one. That's going to be double white, and then 1 and 2. Exile Palladium Mirror. Basically, we want to keep them off that Kozilek mana, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. Since we have no creatures to throw, we're going to go ahead and swing in for 4. That'll kind of help give us just a little bit of life gain, put us back at 15, and also kind of stop Kozilek from coming across. There we go. All right, swinging in for 4. It's going to put them down to 26, and that'll actually be 4 total commander damage. All right, now we can start getting some stuff down. We are looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we hit the land drop, we need to hit at least another mountain to be online for a Brion Stoutarm activation. Thunderblast does cost 3 red mana, so we're at this point right now, we're just looking for another red source to get down. But outside of that, we can also go for Hoarding Dragon. If we're going to go for Hoarding Dragon, search our library for an artifact card, and then we can put the return card back into our owner's hand if that's something that we want to go for. All right, opponent's going to be swinging it for 7. That's going to put us down to 8 on that one. And then with the Territorial Hellkite, the flying haste at the beginning of combat on your turn, where is it? Choose an opponent at random, then it attack last turn, and then attacks that player this combat. If you can't choose an opponent, we're going to have to tap it down. So at least this is another way with that haste option to start swinging at our opponent. All right, so we draw into Bloodstained Mire. Let's go and get that down. Yeah, I like that. Let's go and crack Bloodstained Mire. Let's go and grab a Plateau. There we go. Excuse me, where do you have Plateau on the battlefield? Let's go and grab Mountain. So we are online for swinging with Thunderblast and going for that activation. It'll have that Persist, which we can throw in front of that Walker of the Waste. I think that'll be pretty good. Yeah, let's go for that. That's going to be Thunderblast coming across, because we're at least going to be able to swing in for a pretty good chunk of damage. Swinging in for 7, then once we throw it with Brion, we can deal that damage. We can even declare it a blocker or something. Actually, if we declare it a blocker on Walker, that actually wouldn't be that good. So we'll at least declare it a blocker and then throw it. All right, there we go. Swinging in for 7. It's going to put our opponent down to 19. And then we'll still have that Brion activation to go for. More than likely, we'll see our opponent tapping out for Kozilek, because they are sitting at only 1 card in the hand. Okay, now that also does put us on a spot to where if our opponent does get down Kozilek, we're at least going to be able to copy it with Mirage Mirror too. Anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. And let's see what they're going to go for. But yeah, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's going to be exactly just enough with our opponent tapping out. Like I said, they will be swinging in for 7 with Walker of the Waste, but we can at least still throw Thunderous Blast and get that Persist trigger and throw it in front of Walker of the Waste if we need to end up going for that. Okay, opponent's going to go to combat step. Let's see if they're going to swing in with Walker of the Waste. All right, they are swinging in for 7. It's going to go for that Brion Stoutarm activation. Brion, WrestleMania. We're going to be throwing a Thunderblast up there. Actually, I want to make sure we did this correctly. There we go. Sacrifice another creature. Choose target player, Planeswalker. We're going to choose our opponent. There we go. I want to make sure, sometimes when you play Magic Online, you can accidentally click on something and deal that damage to something that you didn't intend to do, which is not a lot of fun. So, all right, so we're going to throw that Thunderblast. It's going to send that damage up top, put them up to 12, put us back to 14. I think at this point right now, we're just going to go and take the 7. That'll put us back down to 7. That's going to give us 6 coming across next turn. We're going to have Territorial Hellkite swinging in with haste, so at least we're going to have combat damage in the air. swinging across. And then once again, if we get down Mirage Mirror, we're looking at 2 mana activation to make a copy of Kozilek. And with the 1,000-year elixir, hopefully we can sequence it to where we'll have enough mana to kind of start doing that. We are looking at 1, 2, 3, and we need to leave up some red mana to go for those activations. But it's certainly possible that we might be able to close it out next turn. All right, opponent's going to go for Kozilek, draw 7 cards, or excuse me, they're going to draw 5 cards, put them back up to 7 cards in the hand. All right, get down Kozilek, and let's see what else they're going to go for. Okay, and they do get the land drop down for Mystifying Maze. Now, Kozilek actually does have Menace, so if we simply just have Mirage Mirror become a copy of Kozilek, to my knowledge, I think we should be able to swing into that. So let's go and get down Homeward Path. Let's go Mirage Mirror, making a copy of Kozilek, or we can simply just throw it up top at our opponent, too, just to have some fun. All right, so we're going to have Mirage Mirror become a copy of Kozilek. I think that'd be pretty good. There we go. All right, let's go and go for sacrifice another creature. We're going to choose our opponent, pay 1 red mana activation. There we go. Sacrifice Kozilek, send that up top. Oh, yes, this should be exactly lethal right there. Put them down to 0. Look at that. Brion WrestleMania throwing a copy of Kozilek out of the wrestling ring. I'll take it. In fact, if you enjoyed today's wrestling match, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Bienvenidos a WrestleMania con el luchador, el protector del mundo, señor, el jefe de la biblioteca, Brion Stoutarm. What's up, everybody? Welcome to some Brion WrestleMania. As far as opening hand goes, yes, we're going to keep on this one. Sorry about that loud intro. I'm always really scared of the one person that's like, all right, I'm going to open up this video. Let's go to get down Inspiring Vantage, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, I'm always worried about the one person that's going to pull the video up in the morning and think, oh, it's not going to be so loud. Jolt tends to be pretty calm in his commentary, but hey, that's Brion WrestleMania for you, the protector of the world, Mr. King of the Library. We're playing Brion WrestleMania, lifelink. 1 red mana activation. Sacrifice another creature. Brion deals damage equal to the sacrificed creature's power to target player or planeswalker. Playing against Queen Marchesa, which we will cover here in just a second. Let's go and get down Arid Mesa, and then we'll crack a land off that, and then anything else. Now we're going to go pass the turn. Playing against Queen Marchesa, Mardu flavor. Death Touch and Haste. Whenever a Queen Marchesa enters the battlefield, you become the monarch. At the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent is the monarch, create a 1/1 black assassin creature token with Death Touch and Haste. See, our opponent's going to get down for 2 mana. See what that is. Opponent's going to go for Castigate. Reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card, exile that card. Yes, that's fine. Go for it. Probably more than likely we'll see the Phyrexian Processor get taken from this one. More than likely with the non-land card. That would definitely be something that would we could use to our advantage, paying some really good life total to get something for Brion to throw over the rings. But we'll see if they're going to take off this one. Okay, and our opponent does take, actually they take a Word of Seizing on that one, so we'll go ahead and cross that one off. Let's go and crack Arid Mesa. Let's go and grab one of our dual sources off this one. And let's go and grab Sacred Foundry. Have that come into play. Not going to pay 2 life on that one. No, we are good. And then pass the turn. Okay, drawn 2 planes. At this point right now, with that 7/6 Cosmic Larva, let's just go and hold on to it. I'd like to kind of chunk that to Brion. Let's go and get down Wooded Foothills, and then anything else we're going to pass turn to our opponent. We cover both commanders free time. We can talk about whatever we want. That's going to be Brion WrestleMania. If you've not seen this deck before, if you enjoy, I hope you have your Lucha mask on. But yeah, long story short, you can see our opponent took one of the cards out of our hands. But running a lot of effects like this with Word of Seizing, untap target permanent, gain control of it, and gains haste until end of turn. So what we're trying to do is, have our opponent get down a really big creature, gain control of it, swing in with it, and then have Mr. Brion WrestleMania throw it over the ring at our opponent into their face. Always a lot of fun. Let's go and crack Wooded Foothills. Let's go and grab that plateau, and then we'll be able to grab a mountain off Scalding Tarn. All right, so we rip into. Now our opponent is simply just passing the turn with 3 open mana. Since we're actually hitting our land drops, I don't mind. Yeah, we'll go and get Plains down. Actually, let's go and get Scalding Tarn down. Yeah, let's go and go for it. If they've got some removal, they've got it. More than likely, we're walking into it. Or if we want to, we can actually go for Phyrexian Processor and pay some life. Let's do this. Let's just go for Brion Stoutarm. It's going to be white, red. Worst case scenario, we start swinging in and get some good lifelink going, and then kind of start going from there. Man, the life gain that you're going to get in this Brion deck is just really silly sometimes. And there's just be a lot of times where you're gaining control of creatures and throwing them, and next thing you know, your life total is really on up there. All right, so your opponent's going to be tapping out for, more than likely, Diabolic Edict. Yeah, that's fine. Brion goes back to the command zone. It was a risk we took, and we'll kick it back over there. Now, we do have Phyrexian Processor in the hand, so what we can do with Phyrexian Processor, enter the battlefield, pay any amount of life, create an XX black minion creature token where X is the amount of life paid to do that. So what we can do, if we're opponent's not really being super aggressive against us, we can simply just go for Phyrexian Processor for like 10 or something like that, and end up with at least a few get some of those tokens on the battlefield and start throwing them at our opponent. All right, opponent's going to get down Queen Marchesa, get that Monarch token, then swing in for 3. All right, put us down to 24. Heart Piercer, Manticore. Let's go and get Plains down. And we have nothing with haste at this point right now. I do want to get down Sunscorched Regent. Cast a spell, we're going to put a +1 counter on it and gain a life. I think that sounds pretty good, especially if they're going to be drawing a bunch of cards. We're going to try our best. Typically, Brion Stoutarm, it doesn't really do too well against a, Mardu kind of control style deck. But like I said, we're going to try our best. It's going to go for Sunscorched Regent. And the fun thing about Sunscorched Regent is that that'll put in some work over a game. Between our opponent casting some spells, getting that +1 counter on it, and gaining that life. Next, typically, it can kind of negate what our opponent's got going on. All right, let's see if our opponent's going to swing with Queen Marchesa. Swinging in for 3. Yeah, we're going to let this go through. That's fine. And that'll be 6 total commander damage, putting us down to 21. Now, as far as next turn goes, we do have a couple different options if we want to get rid of Queen Marchesa. We do have Heart Piercer, Manticore. We can sacrifice another creature. It's going to deal damage equal to that creature's power to any target. So that's something that we can go for if we want to take care of Queen Marchesa. And then also, same thing with Volcano Hellion. That's another way we can deal some damage to our opponent. But we'll see what they're going to get down, though. And if our Sunscorched Regent does stick around, that'll actually be pretty good for us. Opponent's going to go for Wrath of God. We'll still get that life gain. It's okay, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that we do run into another land. So we might end up trying to go for Brion Stoutarm, or if we can get something with haste, that'll also give us a really good option to get that Monarch token back from our opponent. Temple of the False God. Okay, let's go and get that down. That's actually a really good draw. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and let's go and go for Brion Stoutarm. I like to get that on the battlefield, but we got some pretty good burn in the hand. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Just going to tap out for 2 more. Leave that up, and then anything else, we're going to pass the turn. Now, like I said, as far as our hand goes, we still have Phyrexian Processor, so we can pay that 4 mana, and we have more than enough activation mana to go for those Brion activations. We do have, I think, Thornbite Staff in here. I think that's what it is, that whenever a creature dies, we get an untap off Brion, so that's always really nice. But outside of that, we can start getting some of these creatures down, and, it's a lot of fun running. We have a 3 converted mana cost Cosmic Larva that we can just pay 1 red mana and deal that 7 damage up top. So if we're going to get Brion to stick during this turn, we'll end up getting down some of our creatures and hopefully putting some pretty good pressure on our opponent, but it's going to get down a snow-covered swamp. But that does remind me about Queen Marchesa. I need to build her. She's on my to-do list, and once Dominaria kind of rolls out and kind of gets out of the way, I'm going to try to start tackling some of that to-do list. And typically, I've had that to-do list for a long time, and when people suggest a commander, I really do put it on there. But Phyrexian, okay. But it's one of those that I'm trying to make time to do a lot of this stuff, and whenever I started making videos for MTGO Traders, just kind of put a not a constraint on my Magic free time, but it's just kind of like my free time that would normally go to my to-do list is going to MTGO Traders videos. But I'm finally kind of getting the spots where I can balance that just a little bit better. All right, opponent's going to pass the turn, so we are going to end up with an untapped Brion, or at least at this point right now, we'll end up with Brion on the battlefield, which we can activate. It's going to get Plains down. I guess at this point right now, I don't really want to swing in with Brion. I want to leave up some of these activations. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and actually still have just enough to go for Phyrexian Processor. Let's do this. Let's go for Phyrexian Processor. Opponent is sitting at 27. Let's go 1, 2. Are we feeling feisty on this one? What are we going to go for? Pay some life, or are we simply going to get down Cosmic Larva? Yeah, let's do this. Let's go for Phyrexian Processor. That's going to be 1, 2. Yeah, I like this. We're going to pay some life on this one. We can gain some life after whatever creature we get down on the battlefield. I'm thinking on this one, we'll probably end up paying maybe about 15. We're not really seeing a lot of pressure from our opponent. If they're going to be able to squeeze it out, they can squeeze it out. But 15 will put them down pretty low, and then we got some pretty good burn in the hand. Yeah, let's do that. Let's go for 15. Okay. Let's go and go for Cosmic Larva. That'll allow us to at least gain a little bit of life. Once we get that down, we can go for Brion activation. Now, if they do have some sort of spot removal, we'll probably see it come out now before Cosmic Larva hits the battlefield. If it does hit the battlefield, then I feel in a pretty good spot going forward that they're not going to have some sort of answer from Brion. But at this point in the game with Phyrexian Arena and the Monarch token, they're definitely going to be able to get some really good card draw going. Okay, so your opponent's going to be tapping out for him. Okay, opponent's going to go for Dismember. -5, yep, that's fine. It's going to get it. It'll get Brion. It's going to get down Cosmic Larva, and then anything else, we're going to pass the turn to our opponent. Now, we can still go ahead and get down the token. We don't have the mana for it, but let's say that we don't end up going for Brion next turn. we can still get down the Phyrexian Processor and go for the Heart Piercer Manticore. It's a little clunky, but we're not going to have that life gain back up with Brion Stoutarm, so we're going to have to be a little bit careful about our opponent swinging in, especially with the hasty creature commander like Queen Marchesa. But it's entirely possible to get down a Phyrexian Processor for 4 mana. That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then get down Heart Piercer Manticore, because it's going to enter the battlefield, sacrifice a creature. It's going to deal damage equal to that creature's power to any target, so we can definitely target our opponent with that one. Now, with Cosmic Larva, we have to sacrifice 2 lands. So depending on what they're getting going, with 15, that's going to be right at 22 on that one. They are sitting at 24. So that's something that we can get going, and maybe we go for Eternalize out of the graveyard. Our opponent's going to go for Chain Lightning on us, okay? We're not going to do, we don't have the mana for it. Nope. All right, that puts us down to 4, and let's see what else they're going to go for. Thankfully, with us having a 7/6, at least we're going to be able to eat up any sort of trample damage our opponent would get down. And if they get down to at least 22, at least we're going to have lethal on the battlefield. So we'll see what our opponent's going to roll out. Opponent's going to go for Lightning Helix, okay? It's going to put us down to 1, put them back up to 26. And let's see if they have another... They got... Like it's Burn, Marty Burn over here. Our opponent's going to get it on that one. That's you go for an aggressive Phyrexian Processor. That happens, but I'm really amazed at that Chain Lightning, Lightning Bolt, Lightning Helix in the hand. Anyway, playing against Mardu Burn, but opponent's going to get it on this one. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.